Protests rage in one country as banks will not let people withdraw their funds. Accounts have been frozen for months. Now, can you imagine what this entails? People will not be able to pay their bills, people will not be able to pay their debts, and they'll be forced into bankruptcy or selling whatever they have to get to feed themselves. This is by Jack McEvoy, Daily Caller News Foundation on WND. I remember I have a personal story. We tried to help a man from the shantytown where we have our little church of St. Sozon, a young mother with a child. Her husband was arrested and imprisoned because of debts. And we tried to get a lawyer to get him out. And the lawyer said, okay, we're going to get him out. We have to pay a small fee, get him out. We went to take him. I saw him. I went with the wife to the local jail. The police station has a couple of cells. And we saw him. And he says, I don't want to get out because every day I spend in here, they deduct $100 from my debt. And his debt was about $2,000 worth. Okay? So he says, I'm going to be here 20 days. They'll feed me, even though their food is terrible. And it was summer, so it was very hot in there. And he was not alone in his cell. There was another man with him. But he didn't want to leave. He says, I have no money to pay it. So I'm just going to be here for 20 days. So this was his solution to his problem. Even though the mother with a small baby had no way of feeding her child. I shouldn't laugh, but this is the reality of what goes on if you cannot pay your debt. He couldn't pay his debt, because the man he was working for was not paying him his salary. Okay? So this is the reality of what goes on. Now, what's happening here? Crowds of Chinese bank customers demonstrated outside a bank on Sunday over bank accounts that were frozen for months in the Chinese city of Zhengzhou, according to Associated Press. So this is China. Okay? This is a communist country, China. And we have been told by economists that there's going to be a very, very bad depression, recession in China that could hit the whole global economy. But this is in Zhengzhou, China. Several hundred protesters shouting slogans gathered in the early morning of the entrance to a branch of the People's Bank of China, PBOC, in Zhengzhou, a Chinese city located 380 miles southwest of Beijing, according to AP reports. The protesters are among thousands of depositors who found that they could not withdraw their money from the accounts for months due to an upgrade of the bank's internal systems, according to Reuters reports. Well, why did the internal system take months to upgrade? Now, police who closed off the area after they arrived told protesters that they were illegally assembled and would be detained if they refused to disperse, according to AP reports. A banking regulator and a local government official also arrived to address the crowd, but the protesters shouted them down. Protesters were pushed and dragged off the bank steps by plainclothes security teams, and when the security staff rushed to disperse the crowd, protesters threw objects, including water bottles, at them. The demonstrators were then escorted to numerous sites where they were forced to sign letters vowing that they would no longer protest at the bank, according to AP. 4 banks in the Henan province froze deposits worth up to $1.5 billion in mid-April amid China's recent economic downturn, leaving thousands of citizens in the Henan and neighboring Anhui province without access to their bank accounts. This led to unrest and planned protests after the banks and authorities failed to respond to complaints. Last month, the planned demonstrations were suppressed by China's lockdowns, which barred citizens from traveling to the bank by designating them as public health risk. The banks, which include the Shanghai Huimin Central Bank and Yuzhou Xinminsheng Village Bank, are under investigation by authorities for illegal fundraising, the state-run Global Times reports. So is it an upgrade in the internal system, or is it for illegal fundraising? Now, the PBOC did not immediately respond to Daily Caller's request for comment. This is on WND. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.